Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am super pumped to be sharing today's video, which is going to be talking about what makes SCAD different than a regular college. I feel like way back when I was applying to schools, looking at schools, all of that, I couldn't really find a video that was explaining to me what I was looking for, which was what is so different about SCAD other than it being, an art school. Like, what is making this school different than a regular school? If you're on the fence, I feel like this kind of will help clear the air for you, hopefully. That's my goal. Yesterday, I put out an Instagram story. I am so thankful for everyone who responded. I got a ton of responses, and I really feel like this kind of holistically looks at what is making SCAD different. When you think of a regular college, you probably think of frats, sororities, big parties, a lot of bars, sports teams. But chances are when you think of college, you think of the stereotypical image. I first want to talk about that main difference. That is by far, to me, one of the biggest differences, and actually a lot of people said the same thing. The environment is by far the biggest difference. So with that, I think that a huge difference is the campus itself. The campus is not like you drive through the gates onto this massive campus. It is in downtown Savannah. The Hive, where all the freshmen live, is close to some buildings. But if you're, an animation major, Montgomery is south end of the historic district in Savannah. If you are a social butterfly who likes to party, know that there is no sororities, there are no fraternities. There isn't a huge party scene. In all honesty, there are sometimes. You'll find out. It's not hard to find out about them. But it's not like every weekend you can bank on this huge party. Or there are plenty of places to go out downtown. You have to be 21 to go to most of them. Along with stereotypical college experience, there's not going to be any big sports games to go to on a Saturday afternoon. There's no football, nothing like that. We do have sports teams, golf, lacrosse, soccer, and you can go watch those games. I haven't gone to watch any. Definitely something to consider if, sports are a huge part of your life. I grew up here in Northeast Ohio. Football's huge. My family personally, we're huge hockey fans. And you're in the South, so there's no hockey there. Something to consider if you feel that sports and going to games is imperative to your college experience, because chances are there's not going to be much of that happening. Another aspect of the environment of SCAD is that it's really open and inviting. I had a lot of people tell me that that was something that made them choose, an art school, more specifically SCAD, was that it doesn't matter what kind of personality you have, chances are there is someone to match that personality. You'll find every walk of human life at SCAD. You'll meet all sorts of amazing people, and there's someone like you out there at school. There is a furry club. That is something interesting about SCAD, but that's also showing that, it's really inviting. Whatever you're passionate about, there's probably a club for it. That's definitely something if you're looking for a school that has an environment that's welcoming to all sorts of people, it's definitely a plus. Something else that's interesting is you see in movies or on social media, everyone talks about, rolling out of bed for your 8 a.m., wearing literally your PJs. That is not the case at SCAD. And you have to remember that, you're going to school with fashion majors, and they're not messing around. They are not messing around. If you love wearing a really cool outfit, I feel like it'll be really appreciated at SCAD. Everyone notices what you're wearing. That's not a negative thing. I don't think so. I think it's cool. It's really easy to be inspired by what other people wear. You can wear really cool outfits and they'll be noticed. Something else is that the freshman housing, the Hive, is brand new suite style. I know that this is different from at least my friends here go to different schools, big schools and small schools all over Ohio, and all of them were in really old dorms. My one friend had no air conditioning in her dorm, and it was the size of a shoebox. And I know that's pretty popular for a lot of schools. The Hive dorms are very, very nice. The fact that you get a living room in your dorm is really awesome, and your own bathroom. You don't have to ever walk down the hall to a communal bathroom. Now, if you were to look into what the class atmosphere is, it is super different, because if you think about it fundamentally, school itself is so different than, the normal college experience. It's only the arts here. You're not going to be taking a chemistry or biology class or anything like that. Your gen eds require you to take one math or one science credit, and I believe the science credit is only environmental science. I took a college mathematics class, which is very simple. If you're worried about math, don't be. I promise it is very feasible. But that in and of itself is amazing. If school is not your forte, but art is, feel comfort knowing that, your gen eds also actually have a very big emphasis on the arts. The other big picture thing to look at is that we're on the quarter system. We are not on semesters. So we start mid-September every year and end before Thanksgiving. And so you have a super long winter break. So our quarters are 10 weeks. And then you have about a 7 week long winter break. And you come back for winter quarter, which is again 10 weeks. And then you have a week and a half spring break, and then your spring quarter, which will have you ending finals after Memorial Day. So we end late and start late. Summer quarter is there for you to take. I know people who have apartment leases will usually stay and take summer classes. It's a great way to knock out gen eds. Another thing to note is the class lengths. So regular classes are 2.5 hours long, meeting twice a week, so 5 hours total. And that's 5 credit hours. It doesn't matter what class you're taking, it's going to be at least 2.5 hours. And I say at least because if you're considering a major in the building arts, I'm interior design, I know architecture does it. It might be other majors as well, I'm not fully sure, but we take 5.5 hour studios. So that means 5.5 hours twice a week for 11 hours total, but it still is 5 credit hours. Lot of time, lot of work. A lot of work, but that's definitely something that's different. I have yet to meet someone who takes 11 hours of class for 5 credit hours who doesn't go to SCAD. Going off of that, it's to note that homework, and again, I can really only speak from a building arts perspective, it is hard to do homework at your home, whether that be your dorm, apartment, what have you. I know all of my work from studios, it's impossible to just bring that back and forth. I know fashion majors, you're sewing things, you're creating things, you're not gonna lug all that home to sew at your house. So people do a lot of their work, all their homework for the weekend is done at studios. It's different for foundations your first year. Your first year you can kind of get away with taking your, drawing one drawings home and things like that. That's pretty feasible, but I feel in general, most majors find it pretty difficult to be able to take their work back. Chances are you're gonna have to drive or take the bus or walk to your building to work in your studio. With classes, because SCAD is a small to medium sized school, class sizes are pretty small for, gen eds. At big schools can be hundreds of people. Our gen ed classes cap at 30, which is nice, and even smaller for studios. For interior design, I think most of our studios cap at 20 people, but usually it's around 15 per studio. So that means, you're getting a lot of personalized hands-on attention because there's not a lot of people for your professor to have to juggle. With that being said, it can be kind of difficult to meet new people after your freshman year. Not to say that it's impossible, because it's not. You can always meet new people. But once you get into your major starting, your sophomore year, you're not in the foundation classes anymore. You're, only having one gen ed a quarter, maybe none a quarter, depends on where you're at in sequencing. So you're hanging out with the same people from your major all day, every day. You kind of wonder will I ever meet new people? It's definitely something to take advantage of your freshman year, is to, make as many friends as possible. It's more challenging, especially if you live off campus starting your sophomore year. There's not a big campus to walk around and see people and say hi to people. Everyone is spread out all over Savannah, so there's no one focal meeting point to meet new people. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you're social. One last thing I feel like I should note is that SCAD is expensive beyond tuition. Tuition is expensive. Taking classes at SCAD is expensive. Foundation year, I had to buy 4 pieces of paper that were $15 a piece. Yes, $15 a piece for paper. It's just something to know going into it that you will be dishing out a lot of money. I know that for my class coming up in the fall, I have to buy rendering markers, which is hundreds of dollars, so something I'm mentally preparing to buy. So just prepare yourself for that. That is way different than normal school. I know people will complain about textbooks at regular schools. We have those too. Chances are for your studios, you'll have to buy a textbook and the $400 markers, or chances are you'll have to buy a textbook and the freshman starter kit that's like $150. I hope that that helped you guys out with kind of seeing some different perspectives on what makes SCAD different. Take these however you want. Some of these things that may be negative to me could be a positive to you, or vice versa. It all depends on what you want your personal experience to be for school. So definitely, if you have more questions, comment down below or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is in my bio. I had so many people reach out to me and ask me questions from my previous SCAD video, and I love helping you guys, and I am sure to not make it biased. I will give you my full-fledged, honest opinion. It's important, you have to make your educated decision. Always do what's best for you. If you guys enjoyed today's video and would like to see maybe some more SCAD videos, be sure to let me know. Comment down below. Give today's video a big thumbs up. Maybe even subscribe if you're feeling spicy. Whatever works for you. Bye, guys.